Overt, loud and clear. Your favorite beats always near. Tune in, tune out. Let the vibe begin. Overt Radio, spinning hits to win.
All right, good morning, Lagos. Good morning, listeners. This is Overt Radio. Good morning, everyone. Today is Wednesday, February 11, 2026. We are starting the breakfast show behind schedule. It is 7 minutes gone past the hour of 8 o'clock. This is the Wednesday edition of Overt Radio breakfast show. My name is Ken, and I'm here with Ibukun this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Kenneth. Good morning, everyone listening to us.
All right. It is 3 days to Valentine, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. So those of you who are celebrating Valentine.
All right. Those of you.
Those of you now. We stop falling in love now.
You are married now. You can do that with your wife.
But Valentine is for singles.
For you.
Most Valentines are being spent by singles, are being celebrated or observed by singles.
Let's extend this topic to another day.
Alright, on a lighter note, Lagos, we are back on air. It is Wednesday, February 11, 2026. We want to go through some of the headlines of the front page of the Vanguard newspaper this morning, and the very first headline, the main headline on Vanguard this morning is Electoral Act rowdy session as Senate okays conditional electronic transmission of results. The rider of that headline, where electronic upload fails, result sheets to be used for collation. Result declaration. 12-member conference committee to harmonize bill with reps submit report February 17. Abaribe withdraws motion for division. Votes Amici leads son to occupy NAS protest ground. Electoral Act alteration threatens Nigeria's democracy. ACF warns, that's the Arewa Consultative Forums. They are warning that Electoral Act alteration could threaten Nigeria's democracy. And the last rider there, public pressure forced Senate reversal on e-transmission of result, says African Democratic Congress, ADC. And the next headline on the front page of the Vanguard, Tinubu and I are parallel lines that will never meet. This is coming from Nasir El-Rufai, the former Kaduna State Governor. That story is on page 9 if you want to know more about that story. On page 40, Atiku Makinde meets IBB in Mina, Niger State. That story is on page 40 of the Vanguard this morning. Nigeria drops 2 places, ranks 142nd out of 182 countries in TI Corruption Index. TI Corruption Index. That story is on page 9 of the Vanguard. And still on the front page, page 42, CDS seeks urgent police civil defense overhaul as military warns of capacity limits. As the Chief of Defense Staff is seeking urgent police civil service overhaul as military warns of capacity limits. Olawepo Hashim is saying that Nigeria's GDP per capita once surpassed China and Malaysia when we ignored IMF. Stories on page 40. On page 45, quitting Chippa United was a tough decision, says Super Eagles goalkeeper Mwabali. On the masthead of the Vanguard, still on Rivers crisis, on page 15 of the Vanguard, Wike commits to peace, Lord's Tinubu's intervention. Fubara promises to fulfill Wike's wish. This man is very weak when it comes to politics. Very weak. That story is on page 15. All right. Federal government's ASU deal sparks outrage as only Unijust confirms payment. Federal government ASU deal sparks outrage as only Unijust confirms payment. That story is on page 8 of the Vanguard. On page 8, Tinubu has strengthened Nigeria's federalism, says Bagudu. Page 8. Page 19. Tax revenue jumps 30% to 28.3 trillion naira in 2025. They've started again with their revenue target. After they've made the target, they will keep on borrowing. Alright, that story is on page 19. Okay, let's go to the main story this morning. Rowdy session as Senate okays conditional electronic transmission of results. That story is on page 5 of the Vanguard. Proceedings in the Senate turned rowdy yesterday as lawmakers rescinded and re-amended provisions of the Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2026 to accommodate electronic transmission of election results, but without making real-time upload mandatory. The tension followed the Senate decision to revisit Clause 60, Section 3 of the bill, barely days after it had rejected a proposal seeking to compel real-time electronic transmission of results from polling units to the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC's result viewing portal IREV. After hours of heated debate, the Senate adopted a revised Clause 60 Section 3 mandating electronic transmission of result after Form EC8A, that's the result sheet, had been signed and stamped at polling units, while providing that where electronic transmission fails due to network challenges, the manually signed EC8A shall remain the primary basis for collation and declaration of results. That is that. So after last week's misstep by the Senate yesterday on Tuesday, they have now said that okay, if when election when voting is concluded at polling units, after the result might have been manually written on the election result sheet, and after they have been signed by the various party agents, the results will be uploaded electronically into the INEC result viewing portal, that is the IREF. Initially, this wasn't what was stated. This wasn't initially the Senate did not touch this area, and that was what led to the protest at the National Assembly by some aggrieved Nigerians. They protested on Monday and the protest continued on Tuesday. So let us keep our fingers crossed, because this is not what yes, the Senate have done what is expected of them to do, but according to some opinions yesterday, this is what, yes, according to some opinions yesterday, there is still a way that election will be manipulated. There are still ways that election results will be manipulated, but this is the best that the Senate can do. This is the best that the Senate can do. But during the course of the program this morning, in the political update this morning, Ibuko and I will try our possible best to expatiate of what this means to Nigerian voters coming 2027. What is expected of the Senate? What is expected of the electoral umpire, the Independent National Electoral Commission? Had it not been that Nigerians protested, there are voices against that act last week, the Senate wouldn't have budged any longer.
Okay, thank you, Kenneth. I really want to say one thing. You see, last week, after the lawmakers fought and argued before agreeing this electronic transmission of election results, you see, now they are adding conditions to it. This makes, I don't want to make it personal, this makes Nigerians feel like even if the system is not tampered with, as long as this system, this democracy is so clean, there won't be a lot of drama like this. We know that yes, we want what the citizens want, we are doing it for them. Adding conditions to it, it makes Nigerians feel like this 2027 election, it might be manipulated. Because what if it is the electric stuff is being tampered and they go back to the manual, the way we do it? So if they want to do something, they should do it directly. The condition that the Senate are adding to it, it is making the citizen feel like they just want to do it
just because they are protesting. That means it's not coming from their heart.
It's not coming from their heart.
I got you.
So
had it not been that they were forced, they wouldn't have done it. I get you.
So if they knew that this 2027 election will be manipulated, we would ask the Senate, we will ask them question. We will ask the INEC, we will ask them question how this election was done.
Was conducted. All right. Yes. So Amechi, among prominent Nigerians, yesterday trooped to the National Assembly yesterday. He was there with his son and other leaders in Nigeria's civil society organizations, demanding that the Senate do what is expected of them to do. All right, that is that. Let's go to another important headline on the front page. Wike commits to peace, Lord's Tinubu's intervention. That story is on page 15 of the Vanguard this morning. Page 15 of the Vanguard this morning. Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Nyesom Wike, has expressed optimism that the persistent political crisis in Rivers State was nearing a final resolution following a decisive fresh intervention by President Bola Tinubu. This came as Governor Siminalayi Fubara of Rivers State promised to fulfill the wish of his political boss, Wike, stating that the road conceived by Wike would be completed in record time. Speaking to journalists yesterday in Abuja after inspecting several ongoing projects in the territory, the minister underscored the president's role as a unifying figure whose leadership was essential in addressing the friction between the state's executive and the legislative arms. He said, and I quote, "I believe that by the grace of God, this will be the last time the president will be bothered with this issue. And that will be the last time the Rivers people will need to hear this kind of discord." Wike emphasized the authority of the President's Council, noting the president is the father of the nation, and when a father speaks, his children must listen and do the needful to ensure peace and progress. All right, this is my say to this. What is going on in Rivers State between the state governor Siminalayi Fubara and the former governor of the state, Nyesom Wike, is I would liken it to childish play, because I was expecting Fubara, to take a stand. Had it not been that he has cross-carpeted to the APC, if Fubara were still in the PDP, I don't know why Fubara is running to President Tinubu to resolve the issues between him and Wike, and saying that you will fulfill the wish. What are those wishes? What are those things that Wike is demanding from you? Yes, one of the things, as mentioned in the report, is that he completes most of the projects that Wike was doing when he was governor of the state. Now, as a governor of the state, it is expected of you, because governance is continual. Governance is a continual process. You can't just be you cannot enter, you cannot step into leadership and say that what your predecessor has done, you will abandon it and start your new project, no. Whatever you met on ground as a responsible leader, either a governor, a minister, a president, what you met on ground, it is expected of you to continue those things. Fulfill those things. Nobody is stopping you from starting your own project, but fulfill those things. Once those things are completed, then you cannot start doing your own project, or you can even start them side by side. So this thing is simple. this shouldn't have caused a problem at all if Fubara had listened, obeyed Wike, or his political godfather. These things are replicated in every state in the country. Take Lagos State for instance. Lagos State has been enjoying peace, leadership peace since Tinubu left office, other than what we experienced during the Ambode tenure when he was unable to secure the return ticket in Lagos State. But as a leader, it is expected of you, whoever you met when you were coming, you should, duty demands that you should give an atom of respect to the former governor of the state. He brought you in there. It is expected of you to act, not dancing to the tune as other people will do, but you must stand your ground. Do what is expected of you to do, so that politics, so that the people of Rivers will not go, will not be deprived of development that is needed, that is expected of you to do in the state as a governor.
Their fight ending is a good one for me, and bringing peace to Rivers State is a good one. But what I want to say is their fight that is stopping. What I want is the governance of Rivers State should improve. It should improve. That's the most important thing.
And just because Tinubu has settled them, that doesn't mean that another problem will not come up. Because Wike is somebody that wants to be in charge of Rivers State. He said it the other day last year that if Fubara is re-elected, that his political life, that his political he will be rendered, he will be irrelevant politically, in Rivers State. So let us keep our fingers crossed. Let us see how both parties will be able to keep to their own we will keep to the rules that that has been laid down by the president following resolving their differences in Rivers State. So let's see what happens, because I know that this is not the end of a political rift between Fubara and Nyesom Wike in Rivers State. Okay, let's see if we can touch one more headline before we go. 23 minutes gone past the hour of 8 o'clock. We are broadcasting to you live from the city of Lagos. This is Overt Radio. This is the Wednesday edition of Overt Radio Breakfast Show. Okay, Tinubu. Okay, let's see this. Let's take this one. Page 8 of the Vanguard says that federal government ASU deal sparks outrage as only Unijust confirms payment. That story is on page 8 of the Vanguard. Strong indications have emerged that the federal government's much publicized implementation of the renegotiated agreement with the Academic Staff Union of University ASU may be selective, as investigations reveal that only the University of Unijust has universities of Abuja, Lafia, University of Calabar, University of Maiduguri, and Federal University Lokoja have faulted claims by the Federal Ministry of Education that implementation had commenced nationwide. So we want to urge the federal government. Yes, an agreement has been signed between the federal government and ASU. So what is expected the federal government to do is to make sure that this agreement cut across all federal universities across the country, so that students will have continued and uninterrupted lecture in the classroom, as the federal government do everything possible to make sure that anything that would warrant ASU to embark on a nationwide strike, those things are prevented and are addressed. Any comment? All right, that is how far we can go this morning. It is 25 minutes gone past the hour of 8 o'clock. When we come back 8:30, we'll be going into the current affairs segment, when we have a very, very interesting discussion that Ibuku and I would like to hold this morning. Don't go anywhere. 8:30, Ibuku and I will be back here on Overt Radio.